Hello, this is Shae Spitz with Business Unscripted, and I am here with Matt with VRLY. Hello there, Matt.
Hi, Shae. Thanks for having me.
So this is a little bit of a different scenario. You're usually on the other side of the cameras doing the podcast.
Yep.
So how does it feel being on this side?
Very uncomfortable again. No, it's good. I used to do this previously, so it's a little different. I like being behind the scenes, but it's fun.
Yeah. So obviously I asked you to be on the show with me because you obviously do a lot of podcasts, and in addition to so many other things. I think that people don't understand what you all do. I probably don't even know what you all do. And then in addition to letting the community and the public know that it is open to the public and not just here at Parkway Plaza.
Absolutely. Yep.
All
That's
right,
true.
so take it away, Matt. Tell us a little bit about, actually, let's start with your back history. What you were doing, what you've done leading up to getting this position.
Sure. So I guess from when I was a little kid, I knew I wanted to be in some sort of media. I had a knack for writing. My mom actually found that out early on. I was writing things and encouraged me to do it. So got older, pursued journalism. Went to University of Kansas, got my journalism degree there. Lived in big cities my entire life, or around big cities. So naturally, getting out of school, young journalist, the only places you could go were small towns. So that's where I ended up as a sports writer in Colorado. And just kind of ascended through the ranks, became the editor of a paper in North Carolina, then went back to Colorado and somehow ended up here in Nebraska. But while I was in Colorado, in college, I had studied podcasting and I had a couple podcasts, had a lot of fun with them. And so once I got here to Nebraska, did journalism, was working at the Columbus Telegram as the editor there, and had a lot of fun with that. And then the opportunity came to get into the whole podcasting world again here at Parkway Plaza. And so here I am.
Yeah. So how long were you? Okay, well, I guess I didn't realize that you weren't from Nebraska, honestly. Where are you originally from?
I'm from like the Chicago area originally, but I moved
Really?
around as a kid a lot. So lived in San Francisco and Kansas City and
Wow.
Dallas. And then, Kansas City. So that's kind of how I ended up going to school there.
Okay.
Um, Never thought I'd live in Nebraska.
Yeah.
I did want to move back to the Midwest because that's where my wife is from.
Mhm.
Actually, it was kind of weird how that happened. I was the editor of a paper in Colorado,
Mhm.
and the publisher there actually moved out here to Columbus to be the publisher here.
Okay.
And for about 2 years, kept saying, "Hey, you need to move to Nebraska." And I said, "I'm not giving up the mountains for Nebraska." um, but then, I don't know, it just kind of worked out really well,
Yeah.
and here I am. We love it here.
How long have you been here in Nebraska then?
It'll be 4 years at the end of this month.
Is it the longest place that you've been staying at, after bouncing around after high school?
I guess pretty close. Yeah, pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the difference is I always felt like everywhere we lived before, there was a plan to move somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
Now I feel like Columbus, Nebraska is like an area we want to be and raise our family. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's awesome. I think kids kind of help get that grounding though too. People like to end up in a place where they can raise their kids in a safe environment where they're enjoying it, they like the school, and you kind of know the teachers and the parents. I'm from a small community, so I would come into Columbus, I didn't know there was more than one option for a school.
yeah, I get that.
I know people are like, "Oh, where are your kids going to go to preschool?" I'm like, "What? Isn't there just one? Don't I just send them to one?"
Yep.
But that's not the case because in my hometown, that's what it was. So
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of interesting. So okay, so then how did you land the role of working with VRLY?
So I was happy with what I was doing.
Mhm.
And Renee Mueller, who is I guess the owner and the the founder of Parkway Plaza, right?
Mhm.
I had known her through doing different interviews and things like that,
Mhm.
and she was looking for a new TC
Mhm.
for KW, and so
Mhm.
she knew my wife Sarah had a
Mhm.
background, and was at a kids baseball game, and she texted me and said, "Hey, I need to talk to your wife," and so Sarah came and interviewed, and Renee showed her to the podcast studio and happened to mention to her that I had a background with podcasting, and I don't think Renee was aware of that. So she asked to
Oh.
see me, so I came in and we just got to talking about it. We had always talked about different ways we could maybe work on things together.
Mhm.
Um, and I love podcasting. I've always
Mhm.
had an interest in it, listening to them, and the background of obviously
Mhm.
producing them previously. Uh, a lot of good conversations. She introduced me to the team at VRLY.
Mhm.
And they were obviously the ones behind this, and got to know that whole team and really loved what it was all about, and
Mhm.
so wanted to jump in.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I didn't know that whole background. So you really weren't even like Renee didn't even approach you. She did eventually, but it was more so your wife
Hmm.
initially, and then so
Yeah.
how's it working? How's it working kind of in the same building as your wife?
It's totally fine. We've worked together
Yeah.
before. It's
Oh,
it's
okay.
different enough because it's different companies in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we've actually ironically she worked at the paper with me before
Okay.
previously, so it's nice because I think we're close enough. We can
Yeah.
see each other, but we're also not like her jobs don't overlap a whole lot, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and there's just a good culture in the
Mhm.
building.
Mhm.
That's what we love about it. That's what I
Mhm.
love about it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
working with Verly, good people over there too. So.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about so obviously VRLY doesn't do specific to Parkway Plaza. I think
Hmm.
that's kind of the misconception that a lot of people get that VRLY might be or at least initially that, VRLY was for Parkway Plaza, but
Hmm.
you guys do so much more than here in the building.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you guys offer to the public?
So yeah, it's good. I guess I do want to clarify that Verly is a separate company from Keller Williams and from all the other businesses in Parkway Plaza.
Mhm. Mhm.
The founder is Tyler Irons,
Mhm.
and the vision. So obviously they do a lot on the real estate side, which you're familiar with.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then there's, I would say, the more community oriented aspect, which is what I focus on. So we produce podcasts, and anybody has the ability to do that.
Mhm.
You're doing a podcast as a independent business owner. It's not
Yep.
a Keller Williams thing.
Correct.
There's a couple of nonprofits and other businesses that are also from outside the building that are looking at it. I think the biggest thing is people just have the misconception it's hard to do, and
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, it's an investment to do it because it
Mhm.
does take professional equipment to do it the right way.
Mhm.
But just because we're here in Columbus doesn't mean we can't do these big things, right? So
Mhm.
Verly gives you the ability to just come in and record, as you know,
Yeah.
and focus on talking to people,
Yeah.
making connections, and
Mhm.
then we handle the obviously the recording, the
Mhm.
editing, the uploading to the major
Mhm.
podcasting platforms. I do want to give a shout out to the production team. So I do the recording. I have a whole editing team, and they do a great job of splicing everything together so we
Mhm.
get that final product, making it look
Mhm.
right. They do
Mhm.
a good job at that.
Yeah.
Um, Other things Verly works on, we're in the process of launching a magazine, Something Good magazine here in Columbus.
Yep.
Um, and obviously helping host events,
Yep.
just ways we can help promote the community in a
Yeah.
positive manner.
Yes, yes, because you just hosted a beer and bagel run. I think it was sponsored by several different businesses,
Yep.
but all the proceeds went to United Way.
Yep.
So, I mean that's a prime example is that it's not just here at Parkway Plaza. I mean, it is to help the community. It's help to get other people's information, their content, and sponsorship and money, all of that. It's to do all of that.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what a lot of people just don't understand.
And you took second in that relay,
I
so let's
did. I
give
should have
that
been
up.
first. I'm not going to get into that. I'm a little
Question
bit.
about the referees were. It was fun though.
It was a lot of fun. I don't like running. It was a great event. I know that my friends who did get first, I guess I can. I'm not gonna.
They can take you out with the gift cards they
Yeah.
got,
Oh,
right?
she
Yeah.
did. Yeah, they
Okay.
got me because they admitted that they kind of somewhat cheated, but it's fine. I'm not. I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna
Oh,
let
you're
that go.
throwing them under the bus on the air. Wow, controversy.
I can only do that because they were my friends. But
Yeah.
no, they absolutely loved it. It was a great event. They are pretty familiar with running. I don't run, so it was by far the longest I've ran intentionally in a probably almost since high school. But I love fitness. Fitness is a big part of my life, but not running. So no, that was a huge success, and I know as the years go on, it'll continue to grow. It was a lot of fun. I know you have some ideas to implement
Yeah, we
some
want to
more
help promote the
creativity.
community. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that is more every year you're going to have a different organization that the money funds will go to, or is that the plan?
Yeah, the plan would be to just rotate the nonprofit we help each year,
Mhm.
just so we're kind of spreading the wealth. And I hope we
Mhm.
can, make it so people not only enjoy it, but we're really significantly helping these
Yeah.
nonprofits. This first one, I think we did a really good job with that, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping we can just grow upon it year after
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, because that went to the Imagination Library, right, for
Yeah.
United Way?
Yep.
Yep,
Which is their book funding program.
it's
So they kids
fantastic.
get, I think, up to age 4, get a book.
5. When you
But
turn 5, you no longer get it just
that's
'cause
right.
I know that because my kids were
Get
my
it?
2 older ones don't get it anymore, but,
Which
it's
is a
a
bummer for our kids,
it
right? It's a
is!
big deal
Oh,
when
it
they
is
get
a
that book.
big deal, like, you get it's their name on it, they get it once a month, and my kids would be like, "Oh, whose book is that? Whose book? Whose book?" So it's a fantastic program, so being able to raise funds for that is amazing because I think she said Hope said that there was it's like $40,000 a year is what it cost them?
It's a lot. I don't know if that, yeah, that total could be right. I can't remember
Somewhere in that
offhand,
area, I
but it
just know it
takes
was
a
a
lot
lot.
to make it
Mhm,
happen.
mhm. Yeah, so just being able to do that. So what other, fundraisers, events do you have with VRLY coming up?
Yeah, we got several things planned. We're going to do some movie nights throughout the summer. Those aren't necessarily fundraisers, but just events to get people out and about again.
Mhm.
Um, on June 30th, which is a Thursday, we're going to do Red, White, and Brews. And so it'd be a little pre 4th of July celebration. Trent Stepik, a realtor at KW, has agreed to do all the grilling.
Mhm.
So we'll be grilling out hot dogs, maybe some burgers, have some 4th of July music, some tailgate games, and we're gonna give the proceeds from all the food to Sammy Superheroes. So
Oh,
that'll be
awesome.
a fun thing to get people out and about and
Are
for
you
the
looking
summer.
for sponsors for that at all or
Yeah, if
donations?
people are interested, absolutely. If they're willing to be part of it and help the cause, that definitely would be appreciated.
Yeah, and who is this open to?
It's open to everyone, like all
Open to
of our
public.
events.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we want to get people here out to the Parkway to hopefully enjoy the trails and have a fun atmosphere.
Mhm.
It's not a sales pitch. I know people think that, well, they're going to get bombarded with the businesses, bringing in questions and things like that. That's not what
I
this is
don't think
about.
we've ever
Yeah, it's
any
not.
no.
That's not what it's about. It's about
Yeah.
getting people out and about, having fun. Sure, people who are part of the businesses here are going to be here, but that's
Uh-huh.
because they care about the community. They
Yeah.
want to help provide opportunities for the community. That's why we
Mhm.
want to have
Mhm.
events like that.
Yeah, so if it's another business and they wanna help, come here and help grill, because 'cause I'm sure we could use some help with that, or if they
Yep.
wanna donate some stuff, I mean, more the merrier. Like,
Yeah.
we wanna bring the community, or I'm sure you do, you wanna bring everybody in the community together,
hmm
and you said this was for Sammy Superheroes, the proceeds will go to Sammy Superheroes?
Yep. The food,
Okay.
all the food we sell, all the proceeds
Yeah.
will go to Sammy Superheroes. And as far as helping the nonprofits, that's not necessarily something we have to do. It wasn't
Mhm.
part of it. It's just more. I mean, if we're gonna do these events,
Yeah.
and get people out having a good time, can we do something a little more, play into that something good motto, and
Mhm.
give back a little bit?
Uh-huh.
So
I love that
yeah,
concept. I love it because if you're going to be doing anything, one, you're hosting an event for the public, but let alone you're also giving back to a nonprofit organization where I know even like Habitat for Humanity, they lost a bunch of funding this year. But I mean,
hmm
just anything and everything, people don't understand the amount of money that it takes for a nonprofit, one, to just even stay open, let alone give to their cause.
yep.
So you have several events coming up. What else does Verly or Matt here in Columbus offer and do?
Um, just about. I mean, I feel like those are the the big things that
Uh-huh.
I do. The magazine and the podcast; those keep
Mhm.
me pretty busy at the moment,
Mhm.
and the events.
Yeah.
We've got more than just the ones I've talked about so far planned throughout the year.
Yeah.
Um, Doing stuff like that though does take probably a lot more work than maybe even I realized at the time. You forget all the effort that goes into it, but it's worth it when you get the feedback and you see people
Yeah.
having a good time. So those are
Yeah.
the big things. Anything I can do
Yeah.
personally to help promote the community in a
Mhm.
positive manner, that's what I want to
Mhm.
help do.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about the magazine because
Yeah,
obviously I know a little bit about it, but I guess how can somebody I mean, do you take businesses sponsorship or how do they
mhm.
advertise? Who do you decide on who's going to be in the magazine? How does all that work?
Sure. Well, so I'm really in charge of all, I would say, the editorial content.
Mhm.
Now that's not my personal. I'm not saying my personal preferences. I really try to look for like stories that are positive in nature, but also are going to be of interest to our readers. So we
Mhm.
do focus on businesses, nonprofits, restaurants, economic development, and youth profiles, at least initially.
Mhm.
Maybe that'll evolve over time.
Mhm.
How I've been doing it so far is just getting recommendations from everyday people in the community, just asking
Mhm.
them, "Hey, who would be a good teenager to profile or a kid to
Mhm.
profile? Is there an
Mhm.
interesting business in town? Or if I recognize there's a business in town that's fairly
Mhm.
new, could
Mhm.
we do something on that?"
Mhm.
I look for the stories there. As far as the advertising goes,
Mhm.
I mean, definitely, people can contact me if they're interested. We do have options for that. I'm really looking for the right strategic advertising partners, people that
Mhm.
really believe in the concept of promoting what Columbus has to offer.
Mhm.
I want to clarify too, the magazine is not a get rich scheme for anybody.
Mm-mm.
It's really just about providing another, I guess, vehicle, if you will, to
Mhm.
promote the community in a
Mhm.
positive way.
Mhm.
So everything is just about doing the bare minimum so we can do that. So
Yeah.
if there are businesses out there that want to help promote the community
Mhm.
and believe in the concept of what we're doing with the magazine, which will be monthly starting in June.
Oh, wow,
Um,
really? Monthly? Oh
Monthly.
my goodness.
Yeah,
That's a
right.
lot of time and editing and just producing and getting that who produces it? Who creates it?
So well, so I do a bulk of the writing, and I guess editing.
I guess printing. Where does it go to get printed?
So Verily, we have a printer that
Oh,
we work with. We worked through all that, and they handle the design aspect and then the printing, and
yeah,
then we get it here, and then we put it out for people to enjoy. So it's not a
yeah,
magazine you have to buy.
yeah. Oh, okay,
You'll be able to
okay.
find it in different locations around
Yeah,
town, or if they
yeah,
want to come here to Parkway Plaza and pick up a copy,
yeah,
they can do that too, and
yeah.
then it'll be online as well.
I'm impressed with the quality, honestly. I think it's a very good quality magazine. It's not cheap and flimsy. I mean, it's sturdy. It's got a lot of content in there. So I was really impressed with the
Oh,
protocol, I
thank you.
guess you could say.
Yeah, our
I don't know
prototype
if that's
edition.
what you could say it,
Yep.
but I that's the only one I've seen so far, of course. But I was very impressed with how it looks and how it presents. So anybody who's advertising, you're not throwing your content in a cheap magazine. I mean, it is heavy duty quality
Yeah.
magazine that yeah.
Which I think goes back to, um, you know, people saying, "Oh, why would you do a magazine that nice here?" Well, Columbus
Mhm.
deserves nice
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
Just because we're a small town or a rural town doesn't mean we can't have nice products. If we wanted to be
Absolutely.
a magazine that you compare with other big
Mhm.
magazines, it's
Mhm.
same type of quality.
Yeah, and I think that people probably read more magazines than what we think because especially if you're just sitting at like the doctor's office or if you're sitting at a salon or if you're sitting somewhere. For me, I like to just have like a book or a magazine to be able to read for a little while rather than just scrolling Facebook and absorbing that irrelational or I think I just made up a word, but
That's all right.
the like information and content that doesn't pertain to us at all. So if you have a magazine sitting out there that people can grab and just read that actually pertains to the public and to Columbus and really to them, I for me, I would rather do that. I wasn't always a big reader, but I really got into it here the last year, and I know people do appreciate magazines that, especially when it comes back to the Columbus community. Like that's awesome.
Well, I think the big thing is if the content is good, like content drives everything. So if there's good content there and it's relatable to the community,
Mhm.
they're gonna read it. If it's
Mhm.
a magazine that is low quality and it's a bunch of stories about what's happening overseas,
Mhm.
that's probably not gonna be of interest to
Yeah.
people here because it's stuff they can find on the internet. We wanna
Yeah.
make it content it's unique to their community.
Yeah, that's really not really even in the newspaper. It's not information. I mean, maybe a little bit here and there, but not. I mean, you're not, these are places that you're going to find. This is where you're the only place that you're probably going to be able to find that information.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, who is on your next magazine?
Well, our first issue comes out in June. Our cover story is about Dylan Driver.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Shay. Dang it! No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well,
I'm just
you're on
kidding.
my list, but you've been busy, so I didn't want to bother you too much.
Just kidding.
But he's a
Dylan Driver. Okay.
chiropractor
Mhm.
in town.
Yep.
I don't want to give everything away, but there's some
Yeah.
good stories in there.
Okay.
And if people
Okay.
have story ideas, of course, they can reach out to me, send me an email.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, Matt at getverly.com. I'll say
Yeah,
it right now.
Matt at getverly.com. And
Yep.
Verly is VRLY.
Yep.
So
Thank you for
just,
reminding me
yeah.
because that's people might try to spell it out
Yeah,
differently.
VERLEY or VERLY. Yeah,
Yep.
all sorts of different ways. But Verly is spelled VRLY.
Yep.
So Matt, you know the question that I ask all my podcast hosts. So not
Yep.
hosts, but my
Your
podcast.
guess.
See, I'm so good at just making stuff up and just going on the
Your
fly. So
guess. You're the host.
my guess, that's right. I am the host. Sometimes I feel like I'm interviewing myself. But I guess so you know the question that I ask everybody.
Yep.
What is one piece of advice that you have heard that has helped you professionally and or personally?
Honestly, there's a lot, but I would say the biggest one that really rings true to me is don't be afraid to ask questions, which I
Mhm.
know probably sounds maybe that's what you expect from someone who comes from a journalism
Mhm.
background, but
Mhm.
honestly, I don't have I guess I haven't been afraid to ask questions.
Mhm.
By asking questions, it's led to new exciting opportunities that
Mhm.
wouldn't have come about if I didn't ask the question. So
Yeah,
I
I would
think a
agree.
lot of times people think, something has to be stagnant or that's just the way we do
Mhm.
it here. And we
Mhm.
can't be afraid to say, well, what if we did it this way? And it can lead
Mhm.
to something new. It might open new doors for you.
Mhm. Mhm. I like that. I like that because yeah, I think if people just kind of get into the flow of this is the way it's done, this is the way it's always been done, this is how it needs to be, and I think we could probably agree that we like to change things up a little bit, start
Absolutely.
something different, shake it up. For me especially, I don't like the normal everyday like just keep going. I like doing something different. I
Well,
always
you
have to
just
be
did it
doing
with the
something.
neighborhood sanctuary.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like there always has to I have to be doing something, and I think that's the mindset that here is our culture is that if there's something else, something that we could be doing different, let's do it.
Yep.
Give it a try, and just keep trying.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna fail once, twice, three times, but just keep going. So,
Yeah, I tend to think people will sometimes believe like, well, that's just impossible. That's out of
hmm
reach. But if you don't ask or if you don't go
hmm
for it, you actually don't know.
I like the word impossible because it's truly I'm possible. So if somebody thinks because the
Oh,
way
I
you
like
spell it,
that.
yeah. So when you
Yeah,
spell it, people are like, oh, that's impossible. Nope, I'm possible. So
that's good.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank
you're
you.
writing a book. You're writing a motivational book.
That's something that I would love to do. And actually, I kind of started it, but that's for another day. I'm not
Okay,
usually a writer. Maybe I'll have you be my ghostwriter.
there you go.
That's what I
All
need
right.
because I
Well,
can
you
come up
just
with
let
a con.
everyone know, but that's it.
That's all right. I think if I let people know, then maybe it'll hold me to it a little bit more. But I
Yeah.
just need a ghostwriter because I just need somebody else who's good with the words and can do that. So we'll have to talk a little bit more about
All
that
right.
sometime.
That
So
sounds good.
yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Matt, for
Yeah.
being
Thank you,
here.
Shae. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so he's located. I guess tell everybody where you're kind of located in case they're not real familiar with where or what VRLY is.
Sure. So VRLY is located downstairs in a studio in Parkway Plaza,
Hmm
4471 41st Avenue.
hmm
You walk through the front doors. You can go through charter, title, and escrows doors and just
hmm
ask for Matt. And the studio is actually located in the back of the building. Otherwise, you can give me a call, 785 Happy to meet up with anyone in town, or if they want to just contact me directly to come here, that works too.
Yeah, I've loved everything that you've done and VRLY's done.
Thank you.
So a little bit of everything, and so it's kind of like a one-stop shop here for your marketing, and we truly appreciate everything that you do.
I appreciate what you do. So thank you.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Thanks.